being a tourist in Jamaica and going back to Jamaica, they are two different things. Hello everyone, I hope all is well. I am back from Jamaica now. I'm doing a lot of reflection regarding Jamaica and what I saw down there. And there's some questions we need to discuss and talk about, because I think it's important that you have an eye out for what's happening in Jamaica. Now let me tell you this, Jamaica is building. We have a lot of building taking place in Jamaica. We have commercial development taking place, we have development as in housing taking place, and there's a lot of development taking place everywhere across Jamaica. Now the question is, when you go back to Jamaica, will you be able to stay? And I've been doing some videos regarding this, but I wanted to go deeper because I'm coming back now reflecting, so bear with me a few things. Now there's a concept that, you know what, you want to come back to maybe work to help the Jamaican government and to help the people of Jamaica, and you have set yourself up in such a way that you're ready to go back, but the opportunity is in Kingston and you have invested in your property somewhere else. The moment that hits you, that's first. Number one, you have to think about renting. No, you didn't think about renting because you had your homes before. Renting in Kingston is going to be expensive, so it's going to be an additional cost. You might say, why come back and work for Jamaican government? There are certain things that you can do when you're working with government to improve, and there are certain things that you can't even do if you don't have that connection with government to change policy. It's best to invest in the systems that you have there, or use your own money to do something that's commercial. It's up to you, but you'll have to diversify your thoughts. So think about this. Always think about conceptualizing where you're going to live and the opportunities that you might want to have. So if you're thinking about going back to Jamaica and you think you might have to work with government, think about a property that is going to be in line with where you want to be serving. So that's number one. Now, if you look further on Jamaica road situation, people are just dying because of careless motorists. I saw roughly 2 accidents, and I'm sure more happened during the time I was there. People lost their lives. I'm not showing you this because I don't think I should show that, but there's a need to address these issues as it relates to how people are using the roads. I saw a picture regarding Flatbridge the other day. 2 drivers connected, and here's an insert of what happened. They stopped on the bridge, and I don't know who broke the red light, but no one wanted to turn back or reverse. Not turn back, but reverse. And I'm wondering, how did it all start? How did we come to a point where everyone has to be right? That's a society that we kind of need to move away. So if you're going back to Jamaica, sometimes even if you're right, just walk away. Or do not have conversations with people who might not be necessary in your sort of cognitive level. It means that they don't think the way you think. You can't get them to think the way you think, so leave them out. So another thing, that is one. Now, another thing that you have to understand is that Jamaica has this mentality, and you go to the tax office, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait if you have land paper to look about, if you have your driver's license to look about, any document that has to deal with the government as it relates to taxes and all that license. You have to dedicate at least 4 hours to get the stuff done. And don't feel any way if someone just walks in and gets through before you because they have contact. That's the real world. So if you're going to get upset when you see someone walk in and get through before you, your blood pressure is going to be consistently high. So just ignore, have your own way, and the bottom line is Jamaica is an who you know society. Another thing I want to say, that if you're going back to Jamaica, leave the politics out. And I say this, leave the politics out, because being a Jamaican, returning to contribute to Jamaica, you want to be able to contribute to Jamaica in a meaningful way without having prescribed a sort of idea that is political. So if I were to return to Jamaica, my simple statement would be, the politics I don't do politics. All I'm here is for the betterment of this country. I'll not engage in politics. And if someone asks me a question that I think it's politically identifying me with something indirectly, I will use research based on my conversation. Because what I realized that Jamaica is set in such a way that one party is right and the other party is also right. I don't know how a system can exist when you can't see the other side of the coin. That's critical thinking. And that requires some level of critical literacy that I'm not seeing in Jamaica. When I talk about critical literacy, I like to talk about being able to understand why the political leader is saying what he's saying, and who is he talking to, and how he's allowing me to feel, and does his conversation allow me in any way to have a better lifestyle as it relates to policy. Once you can answer those questions and feel secure in yourself that it's equal and all, that's fine with you. But I'm not going to do politics. And another thing is the banking situation. It's important that I touch on the banking situation because a lot of people returning to Jamaica might be tempted to take their hard-earned cash and their pension funds that they have to a local institution. My warning is balance your risk. It's important. We have seen where banks have gone down, saving institutions have gone down, and there's little regards for investors. So plainly put, do not put too much. I would say have more fixed assets, more building blocks that cannot be stolen, buildings and so forth, to ensure that you can actually see your money standing. But do not, there are too many things happening in the banking system and sometimes you don't even know what's happening. So another issue is that you do not want your money to be valued. You don't want your money to lose value over a period of time. These are just some ideas. Now, I'm not saying Jamaica is not a good place. Don't get me wrong, but these are critical things that you have to think about that I might not have touched on before. Another thing is that people go down and say Jamaica is expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. If you go down there with a tourist mentality that you're going to buy food every single day, like what I did for some of the times, it will be expensive. You have to understand when you go to Jamaica, you have to be on a budget. That budget needs to be settled. Cook for yourself. Again, you don't know what these people are putting in some of the foods. A lot of Jamaicans, they put sugar in their food. Now, if you're diabetic and you eat that sort of food, what do you expect is going to happen? So caring for your body is going to be important. You go to Jamaica, think about healthcare. One person said he gets a lot of benefits because the government gives him some benefits as it relates to health coverage. I mean, medication-wise, he stated. But you still have to have that sort of money. People say money is not important for health. Yes. A lot of these rich guys and leaders, they do fly themselves out or their children to have medical care. So if you're returning to Jamaica, you must have that sort of thought that what happens, if something happens, you're able to address it. And those are real talk, because if you follow the system, you realize that money takes you a far way off, and money allows you to be able to have certain things in Jamaica and certain leverage of power, to an example, to access services, and that's the reality. Notwithstanding, we do have a healthcare system, and if there's a position and you need to be taken care of, the system will take care of you to an extent. Notice I said to an extent, because if you need medication and certain drugs and certain things to ensure that your life is saved and you do not have the money, it's going to be a sad case for you. So always have that, and that's the reality. People suggest that Jamaica has a wonderful healthcare system. A lot of people have varied views about the system. And if you talk to many people now in Jamaica and you visited these hospitals, you'd see a different picture of it, right? Coming back to Jamaica means not just packing and going down. You have to understand the culture, and I've touched on that before. You have to understand who are those individuals around you. So these are maximum stuff. And setting up your business, you might want to set up a business. No, let me tell you this. I would say to you, if I were to set up a business, it would be very difficult for me to pay rent, to rent a place, to start a business. And no, I can't do that one. I've gone through that in my early stage. So I have to think about something that is not going to take an overhead. You know, there are so many opportunities. You start at your home and then you develop it further. That's my suggestion to people who want to maybe think about that. And I want to say that Jamaica has a lot to offer. The people out there are beautiful, and if you find wonderful people, you'll be taken care of. The people in Jamaica will love you, they'll cherish you. But remember, not everyone will love you, and that's the reality. You have to also understand how people think in a certain way, and don't take people in your circles and trust them with all your might and lightness, because that could be detrimental too. Remember, you can't tame everyone in Jamaica. You can't tame them. A couple of years ago, I was attending a conference in Jamaica. I had flown down from England, was speaking to someone there, and she said she would never go back to Jamaica. She had come from England, living in Leeds in England. And I asked her why. She said, you know what? My father had cancer. He was unable to speak. He operated his little shop. And you know what? They came through the roof. They killed him. People in the area. And it is so sad because that person was an educator who could have contributed so much to Jamaica. But because of the experience, she would never come back. And that's the bottom line. You can't tame everyone, so you have to be very careful. Another thing I want to talk about is security. People might say, all right, you know what, I want to live in this big place where I can have all the things I want, my big 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, a big yard. That's all right, but you have to have layers of security. You have to understand that, listen, you are going to be responsible for your level of security as it relates to protecting yourself. Anything can happen in a gated community too, but you have some people around you. You want to go where you know you have support. Support is important. And that is why I always say that in another 25 years or so, where will my support be if I'm alive? Those are essential things that you have to ask. So when we're thinking about Jamaica, you're thinking about all these aspects that you want to think about. Are you ready? You have to be ready. And readiness is not just in the mind. It's in the financial part too. It is in your ability to be able to see you are ready. You're not ready when you're done and can't move. That's not readiness. That is pressurizing yourself. So you have to think about these things. Readiness, you're prepared, you have your plan, you know that you're going to be able to support yourself over a period of time, and that is how you're going to do it. But that's my critical thought. Having come from Jamaica, experienced a wonderful time, had some wonderful food. But remember, being a tourist in Jamaica and going back to Jamaica, they are two different things. Follow my channel. I always share some critical thoughts with you because I think the journey back home or from home to another country requires critical thinking. That's all for now.